So I'm going to, without further ado, I'm very proud to welcome my colleague Helen from the TSB, Technology Strategy Board.
Thank you, Mark. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Helen Kuhlman. I spent quite a lot of my professional career in Cambridge in small biotech, but now I'm a pseudo-civil servant working for the UK's Innovation Agency, which is the Technology Strategy Board. As Mark mentioned, we're here mainly to support businesses and to drive innovation in the UK's businesses, to provide solutions for societal challenges. And we do work across a number of sectors, not just healthcare, but as we all know, in healthcare, we're facing big challenges in our growing, aging population with increasing incidence of chronic disease. And what we're trying to do is to look at those challenges and frame them in such a way that we can generate business opportunities, and actually we can support businesses in producing new commercial goods, products, services to meet those challenges, provide solutions so that we can move forward and support us into our growing sort of older age. We do have a number of programs in healthcare, and I will mention a few of those at the end. But obviously the most popular at the moment is the Biomedical Catalyst program. This program was delivered out of the Life Science Strategy in 2011. It acknowledged this sort of phrase, the valley of death, which can mean a wide variety of things depending on which area of technology you work in or how mature your technology is. But what it was really saying is we have a strength of science in the UK coming from both the academic sector and also our sort of breadth of businesses that are operating in the UK. How can we enable that translation to drive commercial successes and apply that science to meeting the demands of healthcare tomorrow, 10, 15, 20 years down the line? So within that strategy, the actual value is 180 million to be delivered over 3 years, and that's comprised of 90 million pounds worth of funding from BIS, our sponsor department, to us, the Technology Strategy Board, aligned with 90 million pounds worth of funding to the Medical Research Council. So ourselves and the Medical Research Council are jointly delivering this programme to try and enhance the synergies between the academic community and the business community to bring along the strongest propositions through the programme. So very simply, it's grant funding, which is available to 3 separate categories of research and development activity. From your very early proof of concept type work, so coming out of the academic lab, looking at the commercial proposition, trying to have this fail sort of fast mentality. We're a bit more up for taking risks than some of the investors you heard from earlier. But what we want to do is then to enable a body of evidence so that other investors could come in alongside us in those propositions later on down the line. All the way through sort of preclinical development into human proof of concept. And I think the latest stage of activity that we've funded so far in the programme is a phase 3 study. So that grant funding comes with certain responsibilities, but we talk about investment and we talk about taking interest in programs of work, but we don't actually take financial interest in companies, we don't take any ownership of IP, so it is very good terms, the funding that is available. So the smallest grant that we've given out so far is, I believe, around the 20-ish £1,000 mark, and the largest is 2.4 million pounds. So there is a whole breadth of value activity going on at the moment. And I will mention a few of the programs very briefly and trying to keep within my 10-minute allocated time slot. But what I do want to stress is the program is here to support opportunities which can develop healthcare solutions that can come from any sector, from any discipline. It's not just therapeutic applications. We're supporting sort of E and Hem health, engineering solutions, devices, diagnostics. The world's your oyster, basically. But what we don't fund is blue skies research. The MRC have separate programs in response mode to do that. And we don't support marketing activities. So everything up to a product that's at market will support research and development activities in. The government have been very vocal about wanting to support the growth of small and medium-sized businesses within the UK, and the programme has the diktat that it will only support small and medium-sized enterprises. It will also support academics and those two entities working either individually or in collaboration, but it won't financially support large businesses. So some of the companies that come in and access the programme do have relationships with large businesses. One of the ways of exploiting technology may be in partnership with a large business, and that is perfectly acceptable, but we cannot give grant funding to a large entity. There's been mention earlier of, what people look for when they're making investments, and although I said we take more risk, we are not that far removed from other investors in the space. We look for a good proposition. So what is the issue that you're trying to address? And what is the solution that you're hoping to bring about? What makes it unique from other offerings that are either being developed or at market already? And what is your commercial proposition? How are you looking to exploit that ultimately? Do you have freedom to exploit? And very importantly, and we see sort of issues with this time and time again, who are the people that are going to make it happen? If it is still earlier scientific research work, do you have a good expertise from the academic sector? If you're going further towards the sort of commercial exploitation end, do you have a good route to market? Do you understand the players concerned? And are you building up those relationships? Having a strong team is really important, even if they're not contained within the enterprise that you're trying to build. You have to have knowledge of your weaknesses and the relationships you're going to need to build up as you progress your research and development program. Slightly as an aside, as different from a VC investor, we're looking for what the UK is going to gain from investing in this research and development work. And as I said before, we're not looking for the same type of financial return, but we are looking for an economic return. So how is your product going to help the health of the nation and therefore bring us back into work, who are going to alleviate the burden on the NHS? How are you going to create revenue or grow your business so we can create jobs and have more taxable income coming into the UK? And why wouldn't this happen anyway? So sometimes people come to us with such a good proposition. The question back to them is, why can't you get funding from other sources, from private sources? The programme has been put in place to try and encourage investment into the sector and to sort of incentivise research and development in the sector. It's not replacing already existing methods of finance. And just mentioning the review process, we do source both academic and business experts to review all the proposals, and also contained with that are sort of friendly VC faces that are sitting around the audience, because we do need a breadth of expertise to drill down on the merits of these programs that are coming to us. So we do want to separate the wheat from the chaff, and we do want to enable those programs to answer the real questions that will enable others to come in and invest behind us. So the current status in the programme, and we have been running for just over a year now, actually giving out funding. In the first 3 rounds, we've had almost 500 proposals, and that's just business-led proposals asking for almost £400 million worth of funding. So we could have spent the funding sort of multiple times. Over rounds 1 and 2, this figure, the 96 over 115 projects, is academic-led and business-led projects. 2/3 of those are business-led programs of work. They range, as I said before, from feasibility all the way into sort of clinical phase 3 studies, and cover the breadth of disciplines through therapeutic programs, through diagnostics and E and M health. Basically, we want to achieve growth for the sector, the life science sector in the UK. We want to create a more competitive environment for doing business in the UK. We want to, as I said, enable sort of better health of the UK population. but we want to incentivize investors to come and invest in propositions in the UK. We want to drive these synergies between the expertise we have. So at the moment, we sort of have a number of siloed organizations that have real strengths, and we want to enable those players to come together to enable those propositions to get the best chance of proving or disproving their theories. And ultimately, as we're all interested in, and especially Mark at UKTI, we want to encourage further investment in the UK and drive up the money that's invested in research and development activities in life sciences. The programs that we funded in so far have only really just got going. So I'm not going to be able to talk about a product that has sort of been placed on the market that you can go and buy. But what I can say is we've seen a number of really interesting outcomes already from companies that have leveraged investment off the back of a grant offer from us. And there's been one listing on AIM from a partner in a project looking at sort of a dementia program. A number of people have said to me also that the profile of their business has been raised through gaining funding from the Biomedical Catalyst, and that's really enhanced their ability to interact with potential development partners or potential exploitation routes other than sort of gaining further investment through a VC route. So that's really encouraging. And now people are very interested about the additional money we've been given in the spending review, and I won't sort of break down how that 185 million is going to be allocated, but that is for the Technology Strategy Board as a whole, not just for investment in healthcare. But what I can say is we're going to open another round of the Biomedical Catalyst for application on the 29th of this month. So if you're interested, I'm happy to talk further detail about the programme. 10 minutes is not really enough to go into a lot of detail. We will be making a statement on the website later, and a few other organisations putting out press releases. Forms and other such stuff will be available on that 29th date. And before I finish, I want to mention that we have been around for just over 5 years now as a Technology Strategy Board, driving innovation in healthcare. The Biomedical Catalyst is really only a sort of embryonic programme in the whole catalogue of support that we offer. We have a number of activities in medicine and healthcare. The majority of them are more sort of strategic, forward-looking, and they're centred around patient stratification, so how we deliver stratified medicines in the future. They're also bringing about enhanced kind of community interaction in the regenerative medicine area. So we deliver programs in regenerative medicine, and we also have invested in the cell therapy catapult. We are the government body that's responsible for delivering the pre-competitive procurement program, which is SBRI, and I will be doing a lot of work going forward in ensuring that the Department of Health is able to increase their investment through SBRI. And also our assisted living innovation platform is probably one of our most mature older programs that will be going forward, and that's looking at a number of technologies and demonstrating them in a wider community setting about how we can enable older adults to live more independent lives in their own environments. If you are looking for a responsive grant programme that is open sort of pseudo all the time, I would direct you to the Grant for R&D that's now known as SMART, originally known as SMART. It's very much like the Biomedical Catalyst programme, except for smaller amounts of funding, and will support any research and development activity in life sciences. If you want advice on sources of funding available, not just through the Technology Strategy Board, or you want to become more aware of what the government is doing and the policies that are coming out in the area, I would encourage you to contact the knowledge transfer networks. We support 15 of those. One is called the Health Tech and Medicines Knowledge Transfer Network. And if you're a business that wants to work with an academic partner in a knowledge exchange program, there is a program called Knowledge Transfer Partnerships. It's probably around 40 years old now. It was originally called the Teaching Company Scheme. I encourage you to have a look at that program as well. So I'm happy for you to take down my details and give me a call or email if you want to talk with me further. Thanks, Mark.